This flyer went viral on Pinterest, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to recreate it step by step in Adobe Photoshop. So, on your mark, let's go. First, let's create a design file. To do that, I'll go to the menu bar and click on File, then I'll click on New. For this design, I am setting the canvas size to 3000 by 3000 pixels with a resolution of 300. Next, I would rename this document to Crypto Flyer. After that, I'll leave every other setting as they are, then I'll click on Create. Let's create our margins. To do that, I'll go to the menu bar, click on View, then scroll down to New Guide Layout. Now that I have the dialog box pop up, for this design, I want to set the margin, the top and the bottom margin to 150 pixels each. Then I'll set the left and the right margins to 200 each. Then I'll click on OK. So this basically gives us a safe zone where all our important elements, like the text, basically sits. Anything outside the margin can be chopped off, and that won't be a problem. Now that the margins are in place, I would go back to the menu bar, click on View, then lock the guides. This way, the margins and all the guides do not move accidentally while designing. So now let's create the background for our design. I'll start by going to the Layers panel, then click on Adjustment Layer, then click on Gradient. After doing that, I'll have the Gradient Fill option here. The next, I'll go into the Gradient option here to change the color that I want to work with. So for this project, I want to work with D3, D3, D3. So I'll click on the color stop here and change the Xcode to D3, D3, D3. Then click on OK. Then for the next color, which is here, I'll click on the color stop. I could double click on it, then just change it to white and click on OK. So currently right now, this color, the opacity is at 0. I need to change it to 100. So I'll click on opacity, then slide it down to 100 and click on OK. So the first step is done. We have created the gradient we want, and at this time, the gradient is going from top to bottom. However, I want to change the direction of the gradient. I want the white to be on the top left, then the gray on the bottom right. So I could come to the angle here and play with the sliders, the angle here, and change it. And if that does not work for me, I could just come to the screen and drag this gradient down itself. So currently now I am satisfied with the direction. Now click on OK. Now let's go ahead and create the UI element, which is basically the search bar. So to do that, I'll go to the toolbar and select the rectangle tool. After I have the rectangle tool selected, then I'll come to the canvas and click once on it. So for the search bar we are working with, I want to make the size to about I think 2100 pixels by, let me do 1001. Then I'll make the radii 100 pixels each for everything. Then I'll click on OK. Now that I have the search bar created, which is basically a rounded edge rectangle, so the next step I want to do now is to convert this shape into a smart object. So I'll go to the Layers panel, I'll click on the shape on the layer, then I'll click on Convert to Smart Object. After converting it to a smart object, I want to open it on its own, so I'll be able to add the content to it, which is the searches to it. So next, let's open the smart object. So I'll come into the smart object and double click, and we have the smart object here. Another thing that I need to do now is to change the color of this box to white. So I'll just come to the layer, double click on it and make it white. What I want to do next is to create margins, basically guidelines for all of the contents I will be imputing into this box. Let me go ahead and hide this. So to do that, I'll go to the menu bar. I'll go to the menu bar, click on view, then I'll scroll down to new guide layout. So for this particular one, I want to be working with rows and margins. So for the rows, I'll make them 6 and a margin of a gutter of 30. Then for the margin, for the top margin, I want to make it 50 pixels. Then the left margin is 200 is fine. The bottom margin also 50. Then the right margin, I am not sure I need the right margin for this one. So I'll just make it 0. Then I'll click on OK. So I have created the margins for this. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of these spaces now are the ones I would impute my element into, which is basically the patches. So let me just go back and lock this guide so I do not accidentally move them. So now that the guides are in place, I need to impute my text element. So before I do that, let me just quickly lock this rectangle. So I'll come to the layers panel, then I'll click on the lock icon and lock. So I'll hide that. So I'll go to my toolbar, click on T to bring my text to. Then I'll just click here to write. So I think it is the best. So currently, to change the size and the font, I'll go to character. So this is what I'm currently using, but I think the original one I used Brie College. Yeah, so this is what I used originally. Regular. It was regular and the size of 14. Let me change it to medium and see how best it comes here. So I think I'd work with 14. All right, so this is the first text here. The next thing I need to do now is import the TobyX logo, which is the brand. I'll go to the menu bar, click on File, then scroll down to Place Embedded. I'll scroll down to where the logo is, then I'll click on Place. So I have the logo here, and I have to scale it down. Then let me move the text a little bit closer to it. So what I need to do next is to align the two elements to the center. So I'll go to the layers panel, select the text layer and the image layer, the smart object layer, then come to the option bar and align the two of them to the center. I think the logo is still a bit, the text is still a bit far off. Let me bring it back a little bit closer. All right, so I think this works. This is good. The next thing I need to do now is, so I need to duplicate, or I need to make more copies of this text and the logo into the other parts of it. However, I want to make sure that the two elements here are in the center of this guideline. So to do that now, I need to create a long rectangle. Then I'll now align the two elements to the rectangle. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, cool. So I have all of the three elements, the rectangle, the text, and the logo. So I need to select this. In fact, let me just group these two. That is the text and the logo. Let me group them. You select the two, you drag them into the folder icon. Then select the logo and the rectangle layer. Then you go to the options bar, you click on center align, right? So after doing that, this one right here shows that everything is aligned to the center of the guideline. So what I need to do now is to group these three selections now. So I have the two selections selected, the first group and the rectangle, and I'll move them down into the group, and then I'll just call them, let me just call it text. Let me just call it text. So after doing that, the next thing I need to do is to make more copies of this. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So after making the copies of that, then you go in one after the other to edit. After making all of the copies for this text, so what I need to do next is to put and highlight on the text Nigeria. So to do that, I need to first go to the color swatches and select my color highlight. So I would work with this blue. Then I'll come to this layer right here and draw a rectangle just behind the text Nigeria. All right, so what is the problem here? Oh, okay, the color didn't change, so I changed it from the swatches. All right, so I have the text Nigeria selected. So after that, what I need to do next is to change just the text, just the word Nigeria. Highlight just the text Nigeria. Then I'll go up to the options bar here, click on the color swatch, then I'll change this to white and click on OK. Then I'll click to commit this change. So you see, we have the best crypto exchange in Nigeria. Then what I need to do next is to take off this rectangle here. So I'll click on the layer and I would hide that. So after doing that, now for the rest of the text, I'll need to go ahead and change the text in them. However, this one remains. So before, in fact, to do that, let me delete this ones. Let me delete from layer 3 to layer 5. So I'll select this and delete them. So I'll show you why I did that, because I still have to change this element to a search bar. So I'll click on the Toby X logo, this one here, right here, then I would delete. So what I need to do at this point is to bring in the search bar. So I'll go back to my menu bar, click on File, then I'll click on Place Embedded. So I'll be working with the magnifying glass, then I'll click on Place. So I have this here. I'll need to resize this. Then I'll select the two, the magnifying, the smart object layer and the text layer, select the two and align to the center. Then I'll select the group, then the rectangle, then I would make sure it is aligned to the center as well. So now that I have this selected, and I need to make 3 more copies of X2 copy that I just did. So on the last group, I'll click on Ctrl T to bring it downward to this place. Then I'll select all of it, that is from text 2, copy 2. Then I'll select that and just make this duplicate. I need to come into the second touch option, which is this one right here, and put in just a bit of an highlight behind here. So to do that, I would open the text group, make sure I have this one selected. Let me toggle it on and off so you see I have this one selected. Then I'll go to the toolbar, select right here, and okay, I think this is, go to the toolbar. Okay, let me just move this out a bit. Then I need to place in this highlight. It doesn't matter if you overshoot it, because I'm still going to clip it inside of this one. I'll click on it, then create clipping marks. So it clips it inside of this one. You can see it is no longer shooting out of it. So now that I have done that, so we basically have finished this too. So I'll just go ahead and edit the rest of these ones. Now that we have imputed all of the text into their respective places, what I need to do next is to hide the gray rectangles, because I do not need them anymore. I need this one, but I feel this one is a bit too dark, so I'll just click on it, go to the shape layer, double click inside, then I need to make that gray a bit lighter. Then I'll click OK. So now that everything is done, I need to save this and I need it updated in the original document. So I'll just come to the top here, click to close it. When I have this pop up, then I'll just click on yes. So after doing that, everything updates right here. So this is the search bar that we have created, right? However, if you look closely, you can see that because this one's background is white, you can see it sort of blends into the original background we have here. So what we need to do at this point is to add a border around here. To do that, I'll go to the layers panel. Then whilst the rectangle is selected, I'll come down to the layer style and click on it. So what I need for this one is basically the stroke. I need to add stroke to it. So I'll just click on stroke directly and it takes us to it. Let me move this out of the way so you see. So you can see currently we have a black stroke. This is too obvious. I just want something a bit, something not too dark. So I would click inside, then I'll change the color to D3, D3, D3. All right, that is okay. So for the size, it's currently at 2. I think 2 is fine. Then I'll just click on OK. So if you zoom in again, you can see there is clear difference between the background and this one. There's a clear contrast between that. So now that that is done, what I need to do next is to rename this. I need to rename this because I'm going to make more copies of it and place it behind. So what I need to do is to rename it so I'll know which one I'm working with. So to rename it, I'll come to the Smart Object layer, double click on where the text is. Right, so I have renamed that to search bar. Next, what I need to do now is to move this search bar to the center of the page. So let me zoom this out to make sure. So I'll select this, then I'll press down Ctrl A on my keyboard. Then I'll go to the options bar and align it. So I'll align it horizontally, then I'll also align vertically. All right. Then when that's done, then I'll click on Ctrl D to deselect. So what I need to do next is now I want to create more copies of this search bar. Then I'll put them behind the main search bar to create an illusion of volume. Right. I want it to look like you have a lot of, just like you have tabs open on your browsers, right? So that is basically what I'm trying to do next. So to do that, I'll come to the layers panel. I'll make sure the first search bar is selected. Then I'll hit on Ctrl J to duplicate. So that is basically the shortcut. So after doing that, I can just choose to move the main search bar. That is the first one we created. I can choose to move it on top. Then I have the copy beneath it. Really does not make much difference, but let's do it like that. So now that I have the copy beneath it, is I'm trying to create the illusion of volume, the illusion of volume and plenty tabs open. What I need to do now is to create multiple copies of the search bars. Then I'll scale them down and tilt them to the back of the main one. So now that we have made the first copy, let's click on Ctrl T to transform. Then I'll pull that one up and scale down. So I'll hold Alt and Shift to scale down. Then I'll click to commit. So as you can see, we have one behind it. However, at this point, the one you are looking at is there's really no much difference in it. There's no shadow or any form of volume to it. So what we need to do at this point in time now is to create a shadow behind the first search bar, which is the main search bar, right? So to do that now, I'll select the main search bar. There are different ways to create shadows, honestly. However, the process I like to do is to select the main search bar, then I'll come to the box here, the thumbnail of the search bar, and I'll hold Control on my keyboard, right? When I hold Control, you see this box, and I'll click on it. So by doing that, I have made a selection around the main search bar. So what I need to do next is to, while the selection is made, I will go down to the copy that I have made, right? I'll make sure I am clicked on the copy. Then I'll go to that adjustment layer. Then I'll scroll up to exposure and click on that. Now that I have the exposure, what I need to do at this point is to reduce the exposure because I want it dark. Right, so I'm trying to create shadow just this way. So I'll move the exposure down. We currently cannot see it, but let me just move it down about 2. There's really no number to it here. Then I'll go back to the layer. This is the exposure. This is the copy of the search bar. So I'll just need to nudge the exposure up by clicking on the arrow, on the top arrow, right? So you see I'm nudging it up. So you can basically see this is the main search bar. This is the shadow just created, and this is the duplicate of it. Now that I have this, the shadow is actually coming out of this place, which I do not want. So what I need to do is to clip the shadow into the duplicate that we have made. So to do that, I'll come to the layers panel. I'll make sure the shadow is selected. I'll right click on it, then I'll click on create clipping mask. So when I click on create clipping mask, you can see that the shadow has left this other part. What to do next is, okay, this other duplicate has stroke. So let me just hide the stroke for the duplicate a bit. Let me hide the stroke for the duplicate. Let me see. No, it's still not popping out. Let me put it back. I have to put it back. So yes, I have returned it. So let's go back to the exposure. We have the exposure selected. So what we need to do now is we have the shadow here. However, the shadow is too sharp. So what we need to do now is go to the menu bar and click on filter. Then we scroll down to blur. Then we need to use Gaussian blur. So I'll click on that and we have this one. So you slide it till you are satisfied with the level of blend it has. So I think about 26.3 is fine. Let me see. Yes, absolutely. 26.3 is fine. All right. So I could use that. So that basically is our first tab. What we need to do next is to click on the exposure and the duplicate. We'll just hold shift and click on the 2 layers. So what we need to do now is to group these 2 layers. So I would either drag them into the folder icon or click on Ctrl G to group them. So now that we have grouped them, let me go ahead and rename this to, okay, let me just call it tab. So yes, so this is what we have. So this is the first one. This is the main one in front. Then we have made duplicate. Now I want to make more copies. Then each copy I make will be put behind the last one. That way, I'll just go ahead and make duplicates, scale down, duplicates, scale down till I have enough. All right. Okay, so now I have created all of the multiples of the search bar to give it a sense of volume and open tabs. So what I need to do now is to add a bit of realism to it, in a sense that if you have a lot of objects and that extends far, it kind of gets a bit hazy. So what I need to do now is add some haze to it, like a fog or something of that about. However, before I do that, I want to group all of these things together because they belong to the same group. So I'll make sure I have the last tab selected and I'll go to the first one. Then I'll do Ctrl G to group them. I'll just call this tabs. Now that is done, so what I need to do to add the fog is to select the brush tool, make sure I have soft round brush selected. I think the opacity of maybe 40, the flow of 51, doesn't really matter. Then I want to make sure the color is white, which is fine. Then I'll create a new layer. Then I'll come right to the end of this and start painting some fogs here. So this is just to add a bit of realism to it, to show that it extends beyond what you can see. So this adds that feel to it. So let me paint over here. Just paint. Use the brush tool to paint here. I think. Right. So I think that's. So let me take it off. Before, after, before, after. So we have finished creating the UI element, which is the search bar and multiple tabs open, and that stretches far into the horizon. So we have finished creating that, and the fog I created. Let me just move the fog into the tabs group. So I think I can just even lock this one. I can lock everything now. So I do not need this. I can delete this. So what we need to do next is to add the human element. Just like in the original image, we have somebody pointing to sort of like typing in the search bar. So to do that, we need to import the image. So I already have the image cut off and a little bit of treatment done to the image because I do not want the tutorial extended. So what I just need to do is go to File, Place Embedded, then look for the person, man, then I'll click on Place. So when I have this person in, I'll just need to drag him. So I don't want him blocking any part of the text. So I'll just make sure I drag him here. Then I also want to make sure his hand is pointing directly in the search bar. So let me move this down a bit. Okay, so I think this works. So now we have imported the man pointing in. So this is basically the man doing the search. So what I need to do next is to add realism to it. That is, I need to add shadow to the man. And to add the shadow to the man, what I need to do now is I will make sure the man is selected. You can see it on the layer here. Then I'll go into the thumbnail, the smart object thumbnail. I hold Control and make a selection of the man. So you can see the selection is made of the man. Here I need the shadow of the man. So remember that the light is coming from top here and casting it down to the bottom right. So now that I have made selection of the man, I need to go to the adjustment layer. Then I need to look for exposure. So for the exposure, because I'm creating shadow, so I need to reduce the exposure. All right, so just move it down. I already have the exposure, so now I need to move the exposure layer beneath the man's layer. So now you cannot see the exposure because the man is over it. So what we need to do now is to scale the exposure to show the direction of shadow. So what we need to do now is to click on the exposure layer, then click on the shortcut Ctrl T to transform. So when I have Ctrl T selected, you would right click and flip, I think vertical. Yeah, you flip it vertical. All right, so you see we have the man's shadow flip vertically. So what we need to do at this point is to match the shadow to the man and also to the lighting. So now what I need to do is to move the shadow to the feet, and when I do that now, what I need to do next is to come to the node here, then I'll hold down Control to skew. All right, so I'll have to start from here. So I'll hold down Control to skew this. So you have to walk around this. This is okay for me. Let me move this up a bit. Okay, so the shadow is okay for me. However, I need to blend the shadow because it is all too sharp. So what I need to do now is to select into the mask, then select the gradient tool, and make sure what I have here is just black, not this one. So I'll click on basic, then I'll select this one is white, then I'll just go to the stopper and change it to black. So I just make sure it's black I'm working with. So make sure it is black you are working with. Then make sure on the color field too you have black as a foreground color. Then you select this, then you come to you make sure you are in the layer mask. So I need to just move this like this. I need to blend the man's shadow this way. Right. So after that is done, what I need to do next is to import the quiz.bottle. So that one is just to add a little bit to the storytelling. So what I need to do now is go to File, Place Embedded, and look for the bottle. Now place. So I have the bottle here. Let me drag it and put it down a bit. So I think I need to scale it down a bit. So I'll just place it beside the man here. So the bottle in itself cannot just be there. So I have to add shadow to it. So, and also the shadow has to be beneath the bottle. So I need to create another exposure layer for it. So I'll just go to the adjustment layer, click on exposure and drag this down a bit. All right. So after doing this, I'll make sure the mask is selected and I'll invert this. So I'll invert by doing Control I to invert. So I have the shadow inverted. Now what I need to do now is to paint. I need to paint the shadow back into this. So what I need to do now is what I need to do next is to go to the fill, switch this to white, click on the brush tool, make sure I have brush selected, then go to the brush setting, then I need to flatten this brush in a way. So let me see if this is good. All right, yeah, so I think this is fine. So come to the bottom of the bottle. So I need to paint this back. So I'll just come to the bottom and click to add that to it. All right. So if I feel this is too close to the man, so I'll make a selection of the bottle and the shadow. I'll move them to the right a bit. Okay, so this is that, but I think the shadow also needs a little bit more intense one in between. So I would go back to the layers panel. I would create exposure, and I'll move this down and make it more darker. So after doing that, I need to invert just like I did the previous. Then I'll do Control I to invert. Then I'll go back to the brush tool. This time around, I need to increase the opacity. Then I could just come to this side and click twice to add the shadow. So we have added another element for more storytelling. So at this point in time, we have plenty layers with our group. So we need to try and group this to make the work clean and all that. So we have the bottle, then we have the two shadows. Then you select all, Control G. Let me see if they are all right. Then I'll rename this group to bottle. Then I'll move this up, make selection of both, Control G. Then I'll rename this to man. Now let's add the text, the CTA, and the branding to the design. I'll start by going to the text tool and adding the text. So this is going to be finally you found us. Then I'll click to commit. I'll make sure this aligns to the search bar. I'll just select this, select the tabs, and oh, I need to move this. I need to make sure this aligns. This way, we have the tagline and the logo imported, then we have the text here. Next, I need to add the QR code. Lastly, what I need to do next is to add the CTA to it. So to add the CTA to it, I need to go to the toolbar, select the rectangle tool, click and drag and create something. Then I need to change the radii to 20. I think 20 works. No, let me make it 40. All right, 40 is good. So I have this selected, then I need to impute the text. So to do that, I'll go to the text tool, click on it, then just put in let's read, then put this on top. I'll go back to the characters panel. I have to increase the size to about 16 or 18. 18 is fair. I'll change the style to nope, that doesn't work. I'll change the style to about bold. Okay, I think bold is good. Bold is good. I'll go back to the layers panel, select the text layer and the rectangle and the shape layer. Select both, then I'll align vertically and horizontally. So after that's done, what I need to do is to add the gradient to the text, to the shape layer, which is, however, before then, let me go back to the trade and change the color to white once and for all. Click OK. So yes, we are back at the shape layer, which is the rectangle. For this one, we need to change it. We need to give it a gradient of dark blue to lighter blue. So to do that, we go to the style, we look for gradient overlay and click on it. So I'll select this, I'll select the rectangle, then I'll select the text, do Ctrl G and rename to, let me call this CTA. Now that everything is done, now that we are done with all the design, we are done with placing the element and creating what we have here. So what we need to do next is to export it to ensure it has a very good quality. What we need to do next to export is to go to the menu bar, click on File, then you scroll down to Export. Then next you want to click on Export As. So you click on this. So when you click on Export As, you have the dialog box pop up. So you currently have the document here, which is the crypto flyer. Then on the right, you have the format. So for this design, we want to export it as a JPEG. Then for the quality, change the quality to great. Let's see what it does. It increases the size to about 900 KB, which is good. Then the width is 300, the height is 300, the scale is 100%, which is good. Resample by Cubic Automatic is alright. The canvas size 3000. Oh, sorry, I meant 3000. Excuse me, 3000. The metadata, because we do not have any metadata on this, so just leave it at none. Then leave it at convert to sRGB. Then when all of these things are all checked and everything in place, you click on export. So you click on export, then you should find where you want to export your document. So for me, I want to export this into my tutorial folder, and this is okay for me. Then I'll click on save. And that's it for this design, guys. Now it's your turn. Recreate it and tag me on any of my social media pages. I would definitely love to see what you come up with. Also, do not forget to like, subscribe, and drop comments on which of my Pinterest design you would like me to recreate. Until next time, guys, see you.